Hello students, we have started the chapter development, the first chapter of your book. Under this chapter till now we have studied what development promises different people, different goals and income and other goals and national development. Now the topic here is how to compare the different countries or states. Till now we have studied that if meaning of development is different for different people, then you must ask this thing, that if development can mean different thing for different person, how some countries are generally called developed and others underdeveloped. For the purpose of development, how countries be compared? Before answering this question, let's have an example. If we talk about your class, how do we compare the students? Each and every student is different in height, health, talent and interest. हर बच्चा अपनी हाइट वेट टैलेंट से डिफरेंट होता है. हर कोई सेम नहीं होता. जो अच्छा हेल्दी स्टूडेंट होगा ज़रूरी नहीं वो पढ़ने में अच्छा हो, और एक इंटेलिजेंट स्टूडेंट ज़रूरी नहीं सबका अच्छा दोस्त हो. सबकी अपनी खास क्वालिटी है, तो कंपेयर कैसे करेंगे? हम एक खास पर्पज़ के लिए एक खास क्राइटेरिया बनाएंगे, उस क्राइटेरिया से कंपेयर कर सकते हैं. We can use different criteria to choose sports team. We choose different criteria to select a music team. अगर हम स्टूडेंट्स की ऑल राउंड परफॉर्मेंस को देखना चाहें तो क्या करेंगे? We will take important characteristics of students, then we will compare like friendliness, creativity, marks secured, spirit of cooperation, etc. This is also true for the development, that for comparison of different countries, their income is considered. Their income is considered as important attribute, because countries with higher income are more developed than other countries which are having less income. In how to compare different countries, we will talk about income. What is the income of a country? Income of the country is total income of all the residents living in the country. That is also called national income. Means income of entire country's population is national income. Now the thing is, we cannot take total income of the country for comparison, because national income of different countries is different because of the population rate. Each country is having different number of population. So total income or national income cannot be considered good. We will have to take average income. Average income, which is the total income of the country divided by its total population. Or we can say that total income of the country divided by total number of population, we can represent it in a formula. Average income, that is also called per capita income. Now question is, which countries according to the World Development Report 2006 are called rich countries? Answer to this is, there was a report prepared by World Bank, that is World Development Report, that is prepared in 2006. That is why it is called as World Development Report 2006. There was a criteria under it. If a country is having 4,53,000 rupees as per capita income, means per capita income, then means 4,53,000 income earned by every single person during a year residing in the country, then we will call these countries as rich countries. And those countries with 37,000 per capita income or less, means those countries with 37,000 or less than 37,000 earned by every person during a year residing in the country are called poor countries or low income countries. 4,53,000 से अगर हर बंदा किसी कंट्री का इनकम जो है वो इतनी कमा लेता है तो वो रिच कंट्रीज़ में आती हैं. और अगर किसी कंट्री का जो पर्सन है वो मतलब जितने भी पर्सन उस कंट्री में रहते हैं उनकी इनकम 37,000 पर पर्सन है, मतलब हर बंदा 37,000 कमाता है, तो वो लो इनकम या पुअर कंट्रीज़ में आती हैं. दिस इज़ अंडर वर्ल्ड बैंक रिपोर्ट. नाउ even if we are using average income for the comparison of the countries, but these averages are not useful for the comparison because average income hide disparities. This is called a limitation of per capita income. Now let's discuss what it is with the help of an example. Given is two countries X and Y and monthly income of the citizens. PCI is per capita income. We have assumed that only 5 citizens are there in both the countries, and first person of the country X is earning 8500 rupees, and first person from country Y is having rupees 500 as income. Second person in country X have 9500 rupees income, and from Y country 500 rupees, and so on. How PCI is calculated? Total the income of both the countries and divide it by the total population. For this example, we are having 5 citizens. So total the income and divided by 5. We will get per capita income. And what we found that both the countries are having same PCI, means 9,000 rupees. But if we examine from the table, country A has more equitable distribution of the income of people because people are neither rich nor extremely poor, while most citizens in country B are poor and one person is extremely rich, fifth person with 43,000 income. Hence we can say that average income is good for the comparison, but still it suffers from the shortcoming that it does not show that how the income is distributed. Then next is income and other criteria. As I told you in the first video that people not only think about the better income but also have goals such as security, respect for others, equal treatment, freedom, love, affection, etc. So to find out, let's have another example. States are given Punjab, Kerala and Bihar, and the per capita income is given. Punjab is 26,000, Kerala 22,800, and Bihar 5,700. This is showing that Punjab has highest per capita income among all. But when we compare the other criterias or the other attributes, then see another table from other criteria. Here infant mortality rate, literacy rate and net attendance ratio is given. IMR, infant mortality rate, refers to the number of infants dying before reaching 1 year of age per 1,000 births in a year. मतलब 1 साल का बच्चा नहीं होता है उसकी पहले ही डेथ हो जाती है. नंबर ऑफ इन्फेंट्स डाइंग बिफोर रीचिंग 1 ईयर ऑफ एज. ठीक है, ये पर 1,000 कैलकुलेट किया जाता है. लिटरेसी रेट, इट इज़ द प्रपोर्शन ऑफ लिटरेट पॉपुलेशन इन द 7 एंड अबव एज ग्रुप. ठीक है, देन क्या होता है इसमें लिटरेट पॉपुलेशन का प्रपोर्शन जो है वो निकाला जाता है जो 7 या 7 से ज़्यादा एज के होते हैं. Net attendance ratio, it is the total number of children of age 6 to 10 attending school as a percentage of total number of children in same age group. इसमें 6 से 10 साल के जो टोटल बच्चे हैं जो स्कूल अटेंड करते हैं उनकी परसेंटेज निकाली जाती है. ये रेशो स्कूल अटेंडिंग चिल्ड्रन को रिप्रेजेंट करती है. इन द फर्स्ट कॉलम ऑफ द टेबल, दैट इज in Kerala, out of 1,000 children born alive, 11 died before completing 1 year of age. But in Punjab, the proportion of children dying within 1 year of birth is 49, which is 5 times more than Kerala. अब चाहे पर कैपिटा इनकम पंजाब की हायर हो, पर अगर चाइल्ड डेथ रेट ज़्यादा है तो वहाँ पे उसको डेवलपमेंट नहीं कह सकते. लिटरेसी रेट इज़ हायर इन केरला एंड इन बिहार इट इज़ टू मच लो. It shows that in the last column that more than of half of the children in Bihar do not even get education. Only comparison of income is not sufficient here. Look in the table that other attributes are also required to compare the states or the countries. In income and other criteria, after comparison, now we will talk about the public facilities. Public facilities, these are provided by the government, like infrastructure, sanitation, public transport, healthcare, and water. In income and other criteria, we talked about the comparison of other attributes. We can understand that Punjab has higher income but lagging behind in other crucial areas. We can understood this statement that money in your pocket cannot buy all the goods and services that you may need to live well. Money cannot buy pollution free environment, unadulterated medicine. Money cannot protect us from diseases or infections. Actually, public facilities are the requirements. Take an example. If you want to study, but there is no any school in your locality, then what would money do for you? Nothing. Because unless your parents could afford to send you to some private school elsewhere, so you are actually able to study, because many other children also want to study, and because many people believe that government should open schools and provide other facilities so that all the children have a chance to study. Even at present age, girls are not getting education, but still government is doing efforts. So let's discuss the public facilities here. As I told you that public facilities are provided by the government to the citizens. These are infrastructure, sanitation, public transport, healthcare, and water, etc. Actually, government provides these facilities to manage economic activities in the economy. Let's have a look of these. Public facilities like water, clean water should be available. This is essential facility. Government should provide facilities to purify domestic water and industrial water. Second is infrastructure. It includes roads, bridges, highways, dams, etc. Good infrastructure ensures safe movement of people and materials in all the regions of the country. And the third, sanitization. It must be planned to create a cleaner environment, like disposal of waste, public toilets, and hazardous waste management. And public transport, it allows the citizen to travel locally and across the country faster, safer, and affordable. These are like railways, buses, and airlines. Planning and implementation of government medical facilities in healthcare, that is also important, like hospitals, health centers, and affordable drugs should be present in the country. Major example of it is today's COVID-19. With the government facilities, we are now able to overcome the impact of it. These are the public facilities which are much needed in the country in today's era. With this, your topic is completed.